Hi there, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel, English and the Beauty of Language. Today I'm going to upload this video about the Ophir Goldfields, which I visited on the day after Australia Day 2024. So that's the 27th of January. Australia Day is the 26th of January 2024. This was a Saturday. Australia Day was on a Friday this year. This is on the Australia Day long weekend. So it's in high summer. That's late January. This was taken, as I say, on the 27th of January. I drove about 20 kilometres away from Orange in New South Wales. That's over the Blue Mountains past Bathurst to Orange. And the Ophir Goldfields is about 20 minutes outside Orange, nearby to where the famous Australian poet Banjo Paterson was born. Uh, yeah, so it's on the Summerhill Creek. And you can see here the fence here with the opening with the turnstile. This is the plaque. It's the only one that was at the Goldfield. You can see here, it looks like somebody's used it for target practice and also chopping practice. So it was pretty beat up. I had to fix this up and I made it gold coloured. It says here this is the Ophir Reserve. It's the site of Australia's first payable gold field, which was discovered in 1851 and which has been continuously mined ever since. Um, the walking track guides visitors through just a few of the old alluvial reef and riverbed mining sites. And that's where I'm about to take you on my walk with photographic tour of the riverbed. And you can see here, this is the Summerhill Creek. You can see the causeway there that they built. On the far side, they've made it deeper so you can canoe and swim in there. And then on the near side, you can see that's where it's a creek with the rocks and it's shallow. You can wade in there and you can do some fishing in either pool, of course. It's very beautiful. You can see the cliffs in the background there. Excuse me. That's Summerhill Creek. Just you can see the causeway there to the left. And there were quite a few people there when I was there, people camping and fishing and swimming. On the other end, though, tended to be. And I met one really nice family who said that they camp up there every year on the Australia Day long weekend. So that's Summerhill Creek headed towards the Goldfield. The bush was very overgrown, particularly as you head up into the hills. You can see here a heavily veined boulder or rock lying on the walking trail. You can see the tree roots and other rocks around it. You can see that thick veining in there, and there's a close up here of the vein inside the rock. You can see the smaller veins too off to the side. The mountains, this is gold country, and the rocks are heavily veined all around. There you see a nice shot of the creek in the background, and you can see a downed tree there. This is a common theme in this tour I'm taking you on because there was a lot of trees down. You can see the fuel up on the hillside too, all the wood. They'll have quite a severe bushfire here at some stage. This is high summer, as I said, but we had a very wet spring and early summer in Australia. That is in 2023 in spring and then in the summertime. And indeed, that's continued through much of February. It's been very wet. And Western New South Wales, you can see the grass there. This is high summer in the west over the Blue Mountains out on the tablelands, and it's very green. Here's some of the mines, and you can see the missing plaque stand there. If you can see that there, there was a plaque there, but the plaque is gone. Um, you can see these two interesting, like neighbours, one down and one up. Um, they must have been incredibly adventurous, the people who dug these, and obviously incredibly keen to find some gold. And as I said in the thing before, this is the first payable gold field in Australia. This is when Australia was a colony, of course, the colony of New South Wales. And this is, as I say, Western New South Wales. Eventually, the gold rushes moved down to Victoria and then across to Western Australia, where most of Australia's biggest gold mines now are in Western Australia. Though not far from here, I'm going to show you some pictures at the end. We go out to Cargo, which is where one of the biggest mines in Australia is, in Western New South Wales. There was bushranger activity around here. There's an amazing amount of history here. I visited some very beautiful little towns. Um, it's really quite a lovely place out past Orange, and that's on the road towards Dubbo. And eventually, you'd go out to one of Australia's great mining districts. Um, out of Broken Hill. That's far away from here, of course, but this is on the road to Broken Hill, Dubbo and Broken Hill. If you headed north, you'd go, I think, up to Parks, and if you went south, you'd go down towards Cowra and eventually to Wagga Wagga down the southwest. So you can see a cave right up there. I think that's one of the ones I earlier shot, but you can see it up there, up on the cliff, in amongst all that veined sandstone or whatever it is up there. It looks to me like sandstone. And obviously, I guess it probably has to be, otherwise they might not have been able to dig into there so easily. Not that I know it was easy. It looks like a lot of hard work. This is one on the ground again down here. Some of them are fairly shallow, some of them quite deep. This is one of the deeper ones. I don't think you're supposed to go into these. I don't recall. The plaques are all missing. You can go in a way, and you need a torch to go in further. They're full of bats, of course. The family I spoke to actually told me most of that. You can see that's that one that's up on high. Look at the beautiful veined rock up there, and the discoloured golden orange coloured stones on the outside. Here's down by the creek again. You can see the timber. I had to climb all through the timber, all on the whole trip, on the whole journey up along here. I was climbing over logs and climbing under logs, and it was amazing. I've never seen so many down trees in one area. I don't think in the bush. I'm guessing they haven't had a fire in here for some time because there's a lot of fuel. See the creek there? This is further around. You see the tree across the water there, the down tree over there. There'd be some good digging over there, I suspect, in amongst those tree roots. You might find some gold. Here's another mine up on the hillside. This one is smaller and looks much more dangerous than the other ones. You can see it under there. It's almost like a wombat hole. You can see the rocks have fallen down from the wall around the mine. That looks very narrow, tight fit in there. There's cliffs again. And here's a wonderful cracked boulder. I assume it cracked when it landed on the ground. It's fallen off the cliff, obviously, and landed there. And this is one of the more shallow diggings, which you can just walk into and walk back out of. That's as deep as it goes. You can see how they've carved the walls there. Again, you see the veining. That's the walking trail and down logs. Then we're looking up the hillside. We're about to start heading up the hill. That's Summerhill Creek. And here we are headed up into the hills now. And it got worse as I went up the hill. It became more and more overgrown. But you can see how green it is. You can see all the grass. It would normally, as my understanding, it would normally be much drier at that time of year. This is today's. If I haven't already said, it's the 17th of February, 2024 now. So it's just under a month since I took these photos. It's now late summer. Beautiful big gum tree there. You can see there the logs, the trunks and branches lying across the walking track where I was walking up into the hills. And here's one of the mines up in the hills. This one's distinctly dangerous looking. You can see how small it is on the hillside there. You can see the fuel. You can see the down timber up on the ridge line up there. There was timber everywhere. You can see there's a log right in front of me when I took the photo. I collected rocks from this area to take home as a bit of a souvenir from my garden. And one of the pieces of rock, I believe, has a little bit of gold, faint traces of gold on it. So it's a better shot there of the ridge. You can see the ridge line there, and then this very small tunnel into the mine there. Yeah, you'd be quite a brave and perhaps foolish person to go anywhere near that. There's again the walking path. You can see here. This is where the water would run down the hill. You can see all the holes. I don't know if they're all from diggings or if they're also animal holes or just erosion. But you can see how severely eroded. And there would have been people in there digging in the past. That's probably one of the reasons why. You can also see all the blackberry bush. As I said, it was heavily overgrown and quite a struggle to get into the bush like that. I've always been a great bushwalker from when I was younger. And it's something I love to do. It was a very hot day. I didn't have much water, but I had my camera. I left my binoculars in the car, and that was a good decision in the end. Binoculars are wonderful for traveling, but when you can't see very much, the binoculars become less useful. And I'm glad I brought my camera. Excuse me. So there's the trees, beautiful gum trees. Here's an example of the kinds of things I was confronted with on the track. This down tree was like a maze of trunks you had to climb through there. It was quite an exercise. Kids would enjoy having fun playing on that. I was very wary of snakes. I didn't see a single one. There again, you see the fallen timber. That's the same tree. But I'm looking at the sky. This is the walking trail, but also this would be runoff in the wet season, in the rain. You can see how the runoff would be down there through the hills. I would love to have had a dig around in there to look for some gold. There again, you see that's the same tree. You can see the track going through there, and then the tree has fallen down across the track. Had to weave my way through there. Got a lovely gum tree there. This is coming back down the hill now. We've almost finished with the shots of Ophir. It didn't stay too long, as I say. It was a very hot day, and I got there late. It's about 20 kilometres out of Orange, but after you get off the gravel road, after you get off the sealed road, it is a gravel road, and it was fairly badly washed away in some areas. I had to go quite slowly in my urban sedan. I wasn't driving a four-wheel drive, and I had to go quite slowly through the final part of the trek in there. Um, there's a little tree growing out of the cliff face. Quite like that image. And this is the final one of the caves. Now, the next photo, I've just got a few photos of Cargo. Cargo is a quite historic part of the goldfields of New South Wales. Cargo is where one of the first was very near to where the first gold was found. Um, and there's a famous place near there called Bushranger Hill, where a famous group of bushrangers used to hide out. Um, and in some of these photos, you can see in the distance on one of the hillsides, you can see the old remains of one of the very first gold camps that formed in Australia. At one point, there was supposed to be as many as 200 migrant gold seekers camped on this at Cargo, and Cargo is where the Cadia mine in New South Wales is. It's one of the biggest mines in Australia. This is Cargo here. We're up on a hilltop, and you can see the beautiful. It's a grazing land. It's you can see the grazing land there where they have I guess cattle, and Cadia is to our left, and the Cadia mine is about 5 kilometres to our left. And we're looking. I believe we're looking. I think we're looking southwest, and then Orange is to the right hand side. Orange is to the east of us. And this picture, I believe, we're looking at now, and you can see the hills out there. So this is the Tablelands, New South Wales Tablelands, and this is Cargo. Yeah, well, a very historic place, very beautiful, beautiful little towns. I think Blaney was one of the towns we visited. Very, very beautiful. This is the picture you can see. This is if you see in the background there, if you see those rocks at about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the distance up there. You can see the rocks around that kind of clearing. That was where there was an old town and settlement from the gold rush days. And if in the more lower centre of the screen you see those old creek beds where the trees are growing, that's where the miners were. And the paler patches of ground you can see where there would have been old diggings. You can see some sort of pale areas, and they're areas that would have been once dug up and I guess have been filled in, and so on. And down there in those creek beds where those trees are, they almost look like they're buried. That's down in the creeks where the diggers were. And as I said before, apparently at one stage there was a couple of hundred people down there digging gold and finding gold. Bushranger Hill, I'm not sure where that is in relation to this picture. One of my friends took me there, but I can't remember exactly what location it was, but it was nearby. It's near the Cadia mine. I touched up this picture. You can probably see that. Just added a little bit of colour to it. That's in the same place, but looking back east, I think. And again, the same thing there with a lovely old branch. And I enjoyed taking a picture of these branches here. I really like that. This old sort of dead tree. There we go. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really had a really good time doing that, and enjoyed visiting that beautiful part of New South Wales with all that wonderful history. So, thank you.